idea what that is. Where did that come from? I'll have to look at it later. Actually, let me hide this for now. There we go. So, I'm going to speak about something, but I hate using. I don't like to use the term Iraq because Iraq is no longer the Iraq we fought. And again, once the war was over, uh, we interacted with some of the Iraqi. We had no order to stop anybody from going north at a certain point. So we interacted a little bit with, probably we could have, shook them down and found out they were military or something, but we just let them go north back home. We were, they were honorable in the ceasefire, and we just, that's it. You're out of Kuwait. We finished our mission. I mean, we had stadiums full of, at that point, we had stadiums full of prisoners of war. They were housing them in stadiums. It was that bad. And also, I'll tell you, there were 2 Benghazis that I know of. I'm sure there was more. And one was an Iraqi Benghazi. When I saw those troops being executed by ISIS, knowing they had fought with our troops and been trained by our troops, we let them down. All we had to do was send air sorties. ISIS would have gotten nowhere but dead. That's all it would have taken back then. We had things over in Afghanistan. We had stuff up in Siginola, whatever that is, up in Italy. And I guess over in Cyprus. So again, the concept is send it. You can't send it later. Part of the training in that initial Reagan era created rapid deployment force was sitting and waiting, learning that you need to be sent as soon as possible, and you might never go anywhere or get anywhere. Like you go to an airfield and you sit there. Rangers, I'm intuitive, but I read a few situations, but Rangers were sent. They just were sent. As soon as that call comes in, they get sent. 101st, we got sent. And sometimes you just sit in an airfield. They go, okay, we're going back. So always remember, no matter what level, it doesn't have to be a world deployment. No matter what level of send it, you send it. It's easier to call it back because you can't send it later if you need it earlier. But that crushed me. I couldn't believe that was happening. And again, a young man that I helped when he got in trouble with the police, that my wife was Korean, they were Korean, and she had, maybe she cheated on me with the father, but that came up later. But his son got in trouble for having the father's firearm in a car that he wasn't old enough to drive. He was just out there joyriding with his friends. Cop pulled him over. He opened the glove compartment to get the paperwork, and what rolls out but a pistola. So I wrote the judge and said, "Look, I'll take him for the summer. I'll take him to church. Well, I'll get him right. Just go easy, please." I'm a deputy U.S. Marshal. And he went to war, and I told him, I said, I had the right intuition for him to go in the National Guard. He said, I want to be a Ranger. I want to be a Ranger. And again, when he died, he wasn't planning to be a Ranger. He wanted to get out and go to school and be just as bad, be an FBI agent. Get him killed there too. I told him, metaphysically, that's a lot of work. I began learning that they could kill you from the FBI because their parents got money and they want to get your position because they don't give a shit whether you die for them to get their position, even though you'd be a better agent than they would be. That was reality. That's what I learned when I first woke up by God. It was shortly after I left the government. So I told him, no, don't do that. And I told him to go in the National Guard. Why? Because they couldn't stop law, something like that. Just a 11B infantry. They stopped, lost him, sent him over there, he died. He made it back the first time, and that's what I saw. I told his father he was going to make it back. He made it back. He was getting ready to get out of the Army and go to University of Maryland. They stopped, lost him. And it may have been our own troops that stopped, lost him, so he couldn't help me out of the situation they were trying to further put me in. Because he had a good way with my kids and my ex-wife. And maybe we could restore something there. But they spent the whole time. They spent millions of dollars destroying single individuals. That's where the budget went. You know, if you'll hit somebody for the spies, and the spies are also FBI agents, whoever they bring into this thing becomes a spy working against the United States, committing acts of espionage. That's what the deep state is, actually. But they're still there. Just see how it works? Trump thinks, he's not the deep state, but there's people in his units that are deep state. They may have sent him over to die. Instead of letting him go to the University of Maryland, criminal justice degree, FBI. Probably been a great FBI agent, but that's besides the point. So again, he was part of the Iraqi war there, the Iraqi freedom, I guess, or enduring freedom, whatever it is. And then, because again, I was like thinking, and you're just letting these people be killed. It made his death mean nothing. Again, that's a Benghazi type of thing. Let those Iraqis be killed. Spent all that time training them. I mean, they have no clue. I was so mad. But so on G-Day in Desert Storm, I couldn't see nothing in front of me. It was faith. I don't think my driver could see either. We didn't have all that, gear that you all had. We had some night vision, but we didn't use it. We used to use blackout drive, which is those little lights on the back. And we couldn't see. So we move out to get to the rally point. It's the darkest day I've ever seen. I've never seen it so dark. Couldn't see nothing. I take it back. We were patrolling one time at Fort Campbell, I think it was. And Sergeant Pena took point for a bit. We were like a small squad. It was probably like 5 of us, like a team. And we were doing some sort of RTEP, some sort of training and testing. We had to find this bridge to blow this bridge up, but we had to patrol to it. And he disappeared in front of me. His cat eyes completely disappeared. I'm like, what the hell happened? And all of a sudden, like I'd say about 20 feet below me, hey, down here. So I couldn't see. We got to the rally point, and this is a story I wanted to tell you. Those Iraqis, Saddam's forces, when the lights came on, it was essentially looked like the U.S. military on line for police call. We were all side by side, and as far as the eye could see left, as far as the eye could see right, were armored vehicles. It may have been actually more than our division. It could have actually even included all the others, like the UK and all those people. So we did the breach, and we came through, and on the other side, we all spread out on line. And it had to be the scariest thing in the world. Because you're rolling through the desert, so you have that little haze and that dust that pops up around all the vehicles. But again, I don't hate Iraqi people, and they did well for us. And somebody I knew died trying to help them there. IED, Iran. See, paybacks are a bitch, Iran. No matter how many Democratic Party politicians are in your or you're in their pocket, or vice versa. They pay each other. They use the tax code to do it, and then they kick it back to them. So it's very important to remember. You drop all the garrison bullshit gets dropped. There's no reason not to see each other as equals, see each other as capable. I think my driver may have got a Bronze Star for valor. I can't remember. I know at least one other dreg did. The one kid, we were supposed to go to NTC. I was a little concerned because my wife was pregnant, and so we were supposed to go to NTC, and but we were training up for NTC, and we were with the infantry scouts in their they had the Bradleys, and we had our M113, and training up for that, but that was canceled because we ended up going to the Persian Gulf. Right. So we're out there, and the one guy that I know got the Bronze Star with valor, I was so mad at him. I said to him, look, you can rest down here. I'll take care of it with the driver, the track operator. I said, but you have to stay mission ready. You can, if they snooze off, but no taking your shoes off, pulling your helmet off, that kind of stuff. So the one guy, we were somewhere. Okay, yeah, we found the opposing force, and I had night vision on. I remember that part, and it was amazing. It just lit up. The whole place lit up, so we could see them. And we were pretty, even though they're in a Bradley, we snuck up on the opposing force, which was our mission. Yes, I think it was recon. I can't even remember what we were doing. But so I figured we had to do something. The engineers, we had to do something when we got there. So I go down because we're there, like we could see them, and I go down, and there they are, in all their not ready glory. And I started chewing them out. And the idiot was sitting on the mic. So everybody heard me. Whoever said, and I forget what exact words I used, they were choice. You have a hot mic. So I grabbed the cord of the mic, and how you travel up the cord of the mic to find out where it is, and it's under the dude's butt. I grab it and I fling it at his helmet. I forget the guy's name. He got a Bronze Star with the Vita. I don't remember what the mission was. I can't remember that, but maybe I will later. What we were supposed to be, simulating or whatever. Well, it's pretty. Yeah, they selected me to go. It's a high level mission for training, but because I work with the scouts, you usually don't just go with the scouts. The scouts just don't do anything, right? And now I think they're all because I guess it was 50 Deuce, right? There's a 50 Deuce, or something like that. Probably they're scouts, but now they're all Cav scouts or something. But those were infantry scouts. That was a different day and age, right? That guy's name. I'm trying to remember it. The driver's name was Phillips. They got in a lot of trouble before we left. Right. They were going to be court-martialed with this guy Looney. And he was loony, all right. My driver got his face ripped off in a car accident. They're all drunk, and I think they were drugged, or I can't remember the whole thing. Got half his face torn off. Accident. They sewed his face back on. He looked fine. He didn't have, sure he had some damage, but he saved our life, man. Like when it happened, like everybody had to take turns in the barracks, like watching them. You had to do like you had to guard them in the room. Was it Looney? No, it wasn't Looney. It was like some other guy. I don't think Looney was like that. Who was that? Maybe it was. I can't even remember who it was. was. The Looney, I think, was okay. I can't remember the name. But I know my driver's name was Phillips. And I'm yelling at him too. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? But he saw something I didn't see. You see? And he saved our lives. At least we'd have been severely wounded in a minute. I think somebody would. I probably would have died. And he may have, right? Because we were up and out, right? Like I was in the copula and he was in the driver's copula there. All right, so I have to get some prayers done here. But everybody has a purpose in war. Nobody, everything that happened in Garrison, that's gone. It no longer exists. No clicks. That's why I was so mad with Bergdahl. I'm like, bullshit. The leadership is responsible for what happened with Bergdahl. No soldier should have to go through that in a combat scenario, especially. All right, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.